right, welcome to week 5, I believe this is? Yeah, week 5. Yeah, I mean, you guys know the drill by now. We'll be going through all the battles in played order. We got all 8 this time around. Yeah, I guess we'll just jump right into it. I don't really have much more to say than that. Oh, I need to make sure my music is actually looping. Yeah, that would help. So yeah, first off we got Monem versus Birdz, which I have a little bit to say on. Not too much to touch on because this battle is gets snowballed out of quickly very fast. Monem's going to autotomize turn 1 with the Celesteela, and then we're going to lead Aeron. Pretty clear this is Fear Aeron, I don't know what else it would be, but it has to be level 100 because that's the rules of the league. So Monem's going to take advantage of that and instead just set up in front of it. Air Slash. You don't want to Meteor Beam and bring this down to potential sturdy and take more damage from, the Endeavor is coming, so Air Slash gives you flinch chance. It is the best play. Do the least amount of damage and break the sturdy. You still take the Endeavor, but having about 34% left is still really good, especially when you're a Celesteal and you're as bulky as you are, and now you're +2/+2 to the rest of the team. So we're going to see Bennett come out, click Destiny Bond, and we're going to see Air Slash get ripped, and then he's going to get encored into it. This is the big problem with Birds' plays here is we've now lost 2 Pokemon, and this Celesteela is still a threat. We have not stopped this Celesteela, and we've lost 2 Pokemon. Both of these Pokemon are meant to trade 1-for-1 versus opposing, and we've sacked both of them, and the most we've gotten out of it is 66%. On a mon that is still +2/+3 respectively. So we've essentially traded 2 mons for our opponent to get set up to this, and we still haven't taken care of the threat yet. So because of that, this is just not good play in my opinion. I mean, it is a little surprising that Monem just ripped the Celesteela, especially when Birdz has these trading mons in the back. But I feel like Birdz should have picked a much easier lead. I feel like, because a mon like Torkoal does really well in this matchup into every lead too. Like, I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why we're just ripping the Aeron right off the bat when it's so easy to play around. But this is the other thing with the Bennett too, is we Destiny Bond and then we Encore to break our own Destiny Bond. You could Destiny Bond and then I guess you can't Poltergeist and hit it, but you can literally Destiny Bond spam until the Celesteela kills you. Right? And if it autotomizes, then you can Encore into autotomize and then go to Torkoal and mash Plume. If autotomizes to avoid the Destiny Bond, that is. So why are we not just Destiny Bonding into attacking, even if it's Poltergeist and it doesn't hit the Celesteela? He's forced to kill you. And you trade the Bennett for the Celesteela, which wouldn't be bad. This is losing the Aeron isn't awful, right? It's not awful. It's Aeron at the end of the day. It's not going to do anything. But losing the Bennett for nothing but getting this Encored into a move that already 6-0s you anyways, it's just disastrous. So, in comes the Torkoal. You could Terra Electric the Hydreigon and take a hit, but I think you need health on Hydreigon to win the game. So you're kind of just praying Torkoal lives, so you can, you're not praying for Torkoal to live. You're trying to pressure the Celesteela so it doesn't click autotomize again, and you can get Venusaur in and kill it. We're gonna see Yawn. Yawn is set a Lava Plume in case Monem Terras, because he's Terra Water. Yeah, he's Terra Water, so couldn't really Lava Plume. Understandable. We're gonna see Moltres come out, and again, there's no switch-ins, so. Scorching Sands is interesting when Flame kills everything, but whatever, it works out. We're going to see Terra Blast, trades for a Toxic. This is really good. This is really good from Monem. Getting this Toxic off is really important, and this Moltres doesn't beat anything anymore. This Venusaur, I guess it beats the Venusaur, yeah, but when you also have so many other mons that are going to be able to beat the Venusaur, and his play next, he knows what's going to happen. Venusaur can't come hard in on this Moltres, right? Especially with Sun Up. That's not a thing. So Birdz has to stay in and hit it. We all know it's going to Terra Electric, Terra Blast, right? That's just going to happen. know, I lost track. Yeah, so he kills the Torkoal, does this, and he understands that he has to attack the Moltres, and he just wants to let it die, because his win con is getting the Gastrodon in and clicking Rain Dance, because it has Rain Dance, to stop the Venusaur from having Sun, because once the Venusaur doesn't have Sun, it's not an issue for this team anymore. Aalaxel wipes it off the field. So, yeah, this is pretty much over at this point. The only thing I could say Birdz if they were sub-leftovers to block this Toxic and try to snowball out of control, but it's still looking dire. And there we're going to see no leftovers, which means this is likely not Toxic, or not sub. We're going to see Draco come off. I don't know if that mismattered, I'm assuming it didn't. But yeah, we're going to see the Rain Dance come off, which ends Sun for the rest of the game. Comfey switch on this. At this point, the Comfey doesn't do anything anymore, so going into this is fine, even if Birdz gets the read. We're going to see Encore into Terra Blast, which is, again, fine, because he can... Well, I mean, he should have just... No, I like this play better for positioning, I think. No, I mean, you just Draining Kiss and kill it. Because going to Gastro doesn't help you much versus the Venusaur. I thought he was maybe repositioning himself so that, he wouldn't have Comfey in front of Venusaur, meaning that Venusaur could just set up and win, but you also had Encore. So, you could Encore it into its setup move. Yeah, I think you just take your kill with Draining Kiss there, instead of letting it die to Toxic. You're gonna get wiped off the field by Venusaur, but then Zam comes in and kills both. So, yeah, pretty well played from Monem. Yeah, there's a couple things to clean up, and a lot to clean up from Birdz. Stacking your, throwing away your 2 trading mons, and getting nothing out of it but a Celesteela setting up in your face is not great. And it's why he lost the game, absolutely. It just put him at such a major disadvantage versus the rest of the team. But that's, you know, he's trying new things. It happens sometimes, I understand. So there's a lesson to be learned there. For sure. And while Monem did get the 3-0 win, there were a couple things that he probably could have cleaned up to get a more convincing win, like a 4 or 5-0, especially since differential is going to be so important this season for winning your tiebreakers to make playoffs. I feel like maybe little things to clean up there would have been nice. But yeah, not much more to say on that. Convincing win for Monem. We're going to get Cable versus Excelsior, which is one of the closer games here. Yeah. We're going to see Hippowdon, we're going to see Blastoise on the lead. Cable gets the lead right, and Excelsior's just going to lead Hippo, like, why wouldn't he? This is pretty standard. Hard Dracozolt, no Scald Burn, really good for Excelsior. Crazy risk-taking, but it works out for him. We're going to see the hard Dugtrio, which I think is surprising considering Sinistcha is right there, and all Sinistcha's just kind of beat Dracozolt. Like, there's not a ton he can do about it. But he catches it with the Earthquake, and now we're going to see the Sinistcha come in and take a good 15%. So, let's do the math here. Earthquake is base 100 power, but it's getting halved down to 50 because of the resist, okay? Bolt Beak is base 80 power. It's getting doubled from going, because he's moving first, it's going up to 160. And is getting Stab. Times 1.5, so 240, and then getting halved back down to 120. So Bolt Beak is doing about double, call it about 35% to the Sinistcha. So combo that with Leftovers and Strength Sap, this Dracozolt is getting hard-walled here, especially if you're Heat-proof, so you can resist Fire Blast, but judging from that Earthquake damage, we should know this is banded now. Which... If this is banded, that means this is fully defensive, like full fist up. So we know this about these two mons already. Yeah. Well, I knew Excelsior's Dracozolt was banded before the game, which is why I know that this is defensive Sinistcha, which could also... So both players at this point should know each other's mons and what they're doing. This Sinistcha is super defensive, and this Dracozolt is choice banned. Both players should know this off these opening turns. But yeah, I think we see Rotom Heat come in, which is, again, very standard, especially when against the Sinistcha. And we're going to see Thunder Wave come off, which is very interesting, and immediate full para. Alright, I'm going to talk about this Terradark a lot during this commentary, I really don't like it. I do not like this Terra Dark. I think there were much better options for Terraing here. I think staying as your type was a really good option. I think bringing Terra Ground to make sure Boltbeak couldn't hit you at all was a good idea. To be an extra resist to extra drill was a good idea. The thing with Sand, overall, Sand teams hate grass types. They hate grass types, because Sand teams are doing two things. They're running Excadrill, they're running Dracozolt, or they're running Dracovish, right? All of those mounts get butt-fucked by grass types. Every single one of them. So, not tearing out of your only grass type on the team is just a little short-sighted in my opinion. I feel if you're Excelsior, your goal now is you don't even really care about what the Sinistcha does anymore, right? If it's me, I'm looking for the very next opportunity to force in my Hippowdon, put rocks up so Dugtrio dies always, and then mash Boltbeak till game end. Because now there's just no resist anymore. So I feel like clicking Terra here was just a little short-sighted, especially because, like, we have a Terra Ground Mew. Like, that's a very easy way to beat the Dracozolt and to beat the Excadrill. So, yeah. But, we're going to see Volt Switch, yep. Again, we're going to see that through 32, which is, I think also proves this is Fizz Def. And then we're going to see another full para, which is really unfortunate. Excelsior's just going to click Boltbeak and take his kill. Again, Cable should know this is Choice Band from these calcs. That meant he could just go Dugtrio here and click EQ. I don't know what you get out of that, though. Unless you're Stealth Rock Dugtrio. Yeah, unless you're Stealth Rock Dugtrio. And, because otherwise this Tangrowth's just... Oh, no, you're Arena Trap. Yeah, you would just... Oh, wait, no, it has Terra, right? Yeah, it has Terra Ghost. Okay. So you'd force Terra with the Dugtrio, which I think is still a valuable trade. So... But we're going to see the Mew come out. Excelsior's going to play for positioning here, which I think is a pretty good idea, pretty good play. There's a number of things you could do, but considering this is Terra Ground Mew, that means it's really only two things. It's D-Dance Earthquake, or it's Bulky Pivot to switch into Dracozolt, which I should have also mentioned this before the game started. The Mew's Terra can tell a lot about what type of set it's running. The fact that it's Terra Ground, again, let's look at Terra Ground into this team. What is the goal of Terra Ground, okay? It could be Terra Ground Earthquake. Is that any good? Not really, because it doesn't get you around Tangrowth, right? Which Tangrowth, it feels like such an easy bring here, especially when you have a Blastoise, right? It's also immune to... Well, it's resist for Sinistcha as well, which is really important. Yeah, there's just a lot of utility for Tangrowth. You can't get around Tangrowth with D-Dance Terra Ground, right? So what? Maybe it's Terra Ground Earth Power Nasty Plot as the setup? Or Calm Mind? Well, what does that achieve? You're not boosting your defense. So if you Terra Ground, you're still getting clapped up by Excadrill. So what? You Terra Ground, you Nasty Plot, Hippo comes in, roars you out or some bullshit, or Stealth Rocks. Maybe you kill it if you've got, like, Ice Beam or something, I don't know. But then Excadrill comes right out, clicks Earthquake, and does 1,000,000%. Maybe you kill it, maybe you don't. Then comes Dracozolt and you die. So, Nasty Plot, Calm Mind, Earth Power doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for Terra Ground. Dragon Dance Terra Ground doesn't really make a whole lot of sense here. But Terra Ground is really good here defensively for Excadrill and Dracozolt. That's the other type Sand teams hate. Well, if you're not running a Dracovish, that's the type that Sand teams hate. Excadrill and Dracozolt, neither of them get anything super effective for Terra Ground, or for ground types. So, seeing that this is a ground type, and seeing that the only other ground type on the team is Dugtrio, and that there's a Dracozolt, it means that Mew is most likely defensive. Maybe Pivot, maybe Hazards. So, Excelsior, we should be making some conclusions based on this, and seeing that this Mew probably has a pivot move. So if we stay in with Dracozolt, right, it could flip turn right out into Dugtrio. And he could also, if he couldn't tell from the Sinistcha damage, he could very easily tell what set this is running based on its damage on the Mew. Which, again, if we're seeing this Terra Ground, we're assuming it's likely a more defensive Mew. Especially since he's bringing it out like this. It means he's expecting it to live a hit. So if Excelsior, who again knows he's choice banned, stays in, clicks Bolt Beak, and he flip turns or U-turns or whatever, then Dugtrio can come right out and kill him. Additionally, the other really smart thing is that Sandstorm only had a turn left on it. Because of that, Excelsior knows this too. Cable can get any play right here. Say he reads Excelsior to click Bolt Beak again, and this isn't defensive Mew, he can go hard Dugtrio on this last turn of Sandstorm, trap him, and either force Terra or kill the Dracozolt. So Excelsior makes a really good neutral play, and instead of with only one turn of Sandstorm left, makes the safe play to Rotom. Additionally, at this point, the Sinistcha is dead. This Rotom is completely useless, if we're being honest. It loses to everything. We don't know what the Mew set is, so maybe could beat it, right? We're gonna T-Wave it at best, which, again, from Terra Ground, we should know this probably isn't Setup Sweeper, and what is the Mew gonna do with T-Wave? Like, is it gonna click Agility? I really don't think so. It maybe, at this percent, can live a hit from Valiant, but I really doubt that, especially if it's CC Valiant. Dugtrio Stone Edge probably kills from this range. Obviously, we're losing to Blastoise, and then Arcanine, yeah, we don't even need to talk about that. And especially as this flip turn comes off, we know that this Rotom is just getting sacked. It can't do anything anymore. It's the least valuable one. So we see Flare Blitz come off, and we see Hippowdon come right out. If I'm Excelsior, I'm putting Rocks up that turn, just because it kills the Dugtrio, but I understand the Earthquake play. Because Earthquake is just free to click into the scene now that the Grass type is dead. We're going to see Blastoise take a hit. We're going to see that it's not Leftovers. And then we're going to see Rocks as well. We're going to see Miss Dragon Tail. I'm of the opinion that this was actually really good for Cable. That miss was a blessing. Because what's he doing when any of the other mons comes in, right? If he Dragon Tails, out comes Tangrowth. Okay, well now he has to switch and something has to take a Giga Drain. If he Dragon Tails and out comes Dracozolt, now he has to switch and something takes a Bolt Beak. In fact, the game ends because he clicks Bolt Beak 5 times and it's over. If he pulls Excadrill, it can click Terra and just Swords Dance for free, or click Terra or Earthquake. Earthquake might even just flat out kill from this range. And if he rolls Gardevoir, it's clicking Mega, it's clicking Hyper Voice. This is probably dying from this range unless it's AV, which it could be. We don't know yet. I say yet, like this is going to do much more. It clicks Terra, it clicks Hyper Voice. You can't do anything to stop that. You can't re-Dragon Tail it. And nothing switches into Hyper Voice. So missing that Dragon Tail was actually really good. It also additionally lets him spin away these rocks, which keeps Dugtrio alive in the short term, and then keeps everything else at full health in the long term. We're going to see the hard swap to Tangrowth here. Excelsior is predicting a water move, and he gets it right, but it's the wrong water move because it's flip turn and out comes the Arcanine. He's going to stay on this Flare Blitz. Again, a really good play. This Tangrowth is useless. It's losing to Valiant because it's special. It's beating the Dugtrio, but it's at 1%. And if we're being honest, Dugtrio, the reason I want Stealth Rock sub is so we can click Bolt Beak for free and not have to worry about potentially getting trapped or getting our Terra forced. But we're not worried about beating the Dugtrio. It's just an annoyance, right? And besides, we can't really switch out versus the Dugtrio anyways, so why would we need to switch into the Dugtrio when we can't switch out in the first place? We don't care about the Mew. Now that the Mew is revealed flip turn and Terra has been used, this Mew is useless. It's not doing anything anymore. This is clearly not beating Arcanine, and the Blastoise is at 23% with no healing. So there's literally no point to keeping this Tangrowth around. It's not doing anything anymore. But it lives and manages to get a Toxic off on the dog and then dying to sand, which is really good. But yeah, this is free Excadrill, and it's just going to click Earthquake. We're going to see Life Orb. We're going to see this take 67, which is crazy. Another one kills. Not much to say there. This also dies to Earthquake. This is just a sack to make sure Sand can go down and something can come out to beat this. We're going to see the Dugtrio, and we're going to see Earthquake come off. Not clicking Terra is such a big throw here, if I'm being honest. At this point, it's my opinion, you don't need Terra on Dracozolt anymore. If you die to Stone Edge, out comes Hippo, you click Earthquake until the game ends, if we're being real. Yeah, and you take your 3-0. If you win the 50-50 and he clicks Earthquake on your Terrafly, because this is Terrafly Excadrill, you kill the Dugtrio. Out comes, I'd assume, I mean, Arcanine or Valiant. Either one is fine. Either way, yeah, I mean, either way, you can just go Hippo and again click Earthquake till game end. So, not clicking Terra here is just not good, in my opinion. It's just such a throw, because losing this Excadrill for nothing and having this Dugtrio still on the field, which, again, either forces our Terra on Excadrill, or just forces our Terra on Dracozold, or forces us to go something else, is just a big throw. It's not about losing the game. You're still going to win if you're Excelsior. It would take a madman to be able to lose this game from this position. But, differential is going to matter a lot in these tiebreaker playoffs, and Excelsior is already in the depths when it comes to his placement on the standings. Being able to get a little extra off the differential every week would be very nice for the tiebreakers, but losing that could be a throw, and that could affect it in the long run. We'll see. And now there's a chance, because he has Sunny Day. This resets Sand. This means Dracozolt doesn't just win the game right now. Excelsior should still win this, because all he has to do is go to Gardevoir on whatever comes out, get the Hippo right back in, Sun stays up forever, and he clicks Earthquake on the rest of the Mons. We're going to see Valiant come out, and that's exactly what we're going to see Excelsior do. Out comes the Gardevoir, it's going to Mega, doesn't matter, it's faster. Hippo's going to come right back out, it's going to click Earthquake, it's only going to do half, it's going to die to another Moonblast, and then this Dracozolt is going to click Earthquake till game end. Yeah, again, Excelsior was never going to lose that game from that position with the Dugtrio, but if he Terra'd, that thing never gets a Sunny Day off, and all you do is go Hippo. Maybe you lose the Hippo, maybe you don't to the Valiant, because you do get the Hippo in, like, completely for free. Yeah, and it was doing, I don't remember how much it did. It did what? 53? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you have to sack Hippo either way, but you would have kept Gardevoir alive, you would have kept Excadrill alive, potentially. You would have kept, it would have still been a 3-0, if he had gotten the play right versus the Dugtrio. So not clicking Terra there, I just think is kind of a throw. Especially because you just do not need Terra on Dracozolt, so I feel like it's just a very easy play to make. Yeah. And again, if you get it wrong and it clicks Stone Edge, I really think there's a chance it doesn't kill. Dugtrio is really fucking weak. And you also play for Stone Edge miss chance as well, which is even better. So it's not even really a 50-50. It's more like a 60-30 if you click Terra. Or like a 70-30 if you click Terra, because there's also the 20% chance it misses. I really think there's a chance that he lives. I may be wrong on that. I probably am, if we're being honest, but yeah, you keep a 3-0 instead of a 1-0 win. It's still a win, but these playoff games are gonna get close, and I feel not preserving your differential is kind of a throw here, but really well played from Excelsior still. He managed to get himself into this position in the first place, which is good. Yeah, he played it well, even outside of that. He played that early game really well, played the middle game very well. It's just the end game I just have a few problems with, just because I feel like these wins are going, or these differences in differential are going to matter quite a bit. Oh, also, good play on him from clicking Earthquake as well. Very good clicking Earthquake here. If he clicks Bolt Beak, I'm not kidding you, he loses the game. Bolt Beak is not killing Arcanine from that range, and E-Speed is going first, and E-Speed was a 2-co. So if he clicks Bolt Beak here, it doesn't kill. This clicks E-Speed again, and he loses. So very good clicking Earthquake. Instead of Bolt Beak on this. Yeah, and then Cable, as far as things go here, I think he played it fine. The middle and end game, Cable played really well. It's the early game that I have problems with, and some of the prep. I feel like Terra Ground Sinistcha was just such a shoo-in on this team, and not bringing it was just, I don't think it was the greatest play. I think that was way better. Also, just terroring Sinistra in general, getting rid of your grass type into this team just feels like kind of a throw to me. But outside of that, I feel he played it really well. He did his absolute best to recover from the situation, and I mean, he almost got there. It was a 1-0 game. He just couldn't pull it all the way through. Oh, I did not restart this game. Sableye versus Litvam. There's not a ton to say here. Well, no, there is. I mean, we'll just get into it. So, first of all, slacking is here. I don't like that. I don't know why we're bringing slacking into a team with Rhyperior and Skarmory, who both hard wallet, but it happens. And then we're going to see Lando, we're going to see Meowscarada on lead. So both players have plans off lead. Litvam is Suicide with Spikes. Sableye is Scarf with U-Turn. Sableye predicted this lead in prep, and the plan was always just to lead and click Scarf U-Turn, which is exactly what happens. And we're going to see Muckalola come out. Again, he also planned this. We're going to see Taunt to prevent this from setup sweeping. And then he's going to get a Spike. The plan was always for this Meowscarada to die. He just wanted a Spike, which is fair. So, pretty standard so far. And then here's where the problems arise. Sableye's plan, this is Infestation Flamethrower Muck. It was special. The plan being, trap the Skarm when it comes in on the Muck. He thought that he'd get the lead Meowscarada, he'd be able to kill it with U-Turn. If it's Sash, then he finishes it with Muck, whatever. And then he'd trap and kill the Skarmory when it comes out next. Why would the Rhyperior not be the next option, is my question to that. This thing just wipes the Muck off the field. Like, whatever it does, it just obliterates the Muck. And in Mucks, I brought this Mon because of the same reason. Muck is otherwise a big problem for this team. So, I feel like not reading into that dynamic was not the greatest idea. In addition, but I will compliment Sableye on this. He shows Infestation, which should be a cue to Litvam that this is something sinister, this Muck, because he has no reason to click Infestation on the Meowscarada, unless the rest of his moveset is stuff he wants to conceal. Let me double check. I don't remember if Infestation is 100% accurate. Oh, can I not see in here? Okay, well, I'm not pulling up my team builder because I have my I have my weeks team versus Sableye in there, but and I'm not looking at it because Google AI is going to give me something wrong, and if not the AI, something else will. This shit is never correct. So, but oh, I have my bookmarks up that whole time. Whoops. Yeah, Infestation means that this Muck is something sinister, because otherwise he would have just clicked like Knock or Poison Jab or literally any other move. Because why would a Muck choose to reveal that it's Infestation unless its other moves are also stuff he'd want to conceal? So, I mean, it's good on Sableye for clicking Infestation because it was his best play, but Litvam is now cued into the idea that this Muck is a stupid set, and he can potentially play off of that. Either way, Rhyperior versus Muck, he knows Sableye has to switch. And he knows there's two dynamics here. First of all, there's a Rillaboom on the other side of the screen. This could come in for free and stop Earthquakes. It's most likely running high horsepower, but still. Second of all, that Tinkaton has been Air Balloon Pickpocket literally every single week it has came. So that's also probably happening. So Litvam just clicks Raw Stone Edge in order to break it. Yep. This is Terra Dragon Rhyperior, which is really scary for Sableye's team. But Litvam doesn't plan on clicking Terra Dragon. He plans on just scaring him with it because it is good into his team, and running up the Terrifier Thundurus. This Thundurus is Terrifier Double Dance, which 6-0 Sableye's team at this point. Which, if you're Sableye, you need to start thinking about. Like, if this Thundurus is Double Dance, what do you do to stop it? You have to play the positioning really carefully. Yeah, but either way, we're going to see him stay in here and Rock Tomb, which I think is a big misplay. Litvam's going to click High Horsepower. So Litvam knows he lives Gigaton Hammer and is fully intent on sacking this Rhyperior, and trading for the Tinkaton. or sacking HP and he's Rhyperior for killing the Tinkaton. He does not need, in his opinion, he does not need the Rhyperior anymore. He just wants to force the Thundurus in and start getting to work, because this Thundurus does kind of set up for free in front of the Tinkaton, in front of most Tinkatons. Now that we know it's Rock Tomb, it doesn't really anymore. Well, no, what am I saying? He knows that the Tinkaton could be a problem for the Thundurus. He'd rather kill the Tinkaton and get a freer switch in the Thundurus when something else comes in than let this live. But we're going to see Sableye Rock Tomb, which again, I just think is not a great play at all. Because what are we gaining from the switch-ins, right? If I'm Sableye in this position, I'm going, well, the obvious play is for me to click Gigaton Hammer, and do like half to this Rhyperior, and then get like Landorus in or something, and go from there. The other obvious play is going hard Lando and clicking Earth Power, but considering this is Terra Dragon, I'd rather get damage on it than do anything else. Now that our balloon is gone and we're down to this % of health, I don't feel like this mon is any use versus a setup Sweeper Kyurem. If that thing clicks Home Claws once, it's faster. It's killing with Fusion Bolt, which it most likely has. Our balloon is gone, so we can't even take the item. I just don't feel like this Tinkaton is very useful anymore. So I'm probably if it's me, I'm probably just clicking Gigaton to get chip on this, even if it Terras. And then going Lando and clicking Earth Power pretty much no matter what. Litfam decide, so my issue is, if your obvious play is Gigaton Hammer, what are you reading with Rock Tomb, right? First of all, there are no switch-ins to Gigaton Hammer. Well, there is. It's Skarmory. But Skarmory is also switched into Rock Tomb, so what are you gaining from clicking Rock Tomb that you aren't getting from Gigaton? Or even better, what are you doing all this for when you could just click Stealth Rocks? If it's not Boots Thundo, it's taking 25% every time it comes in. Kyurem is most likely not Boots. If it is, then you know it's not loaded dice, and you're significantly less scared of it. And revealing Boots in general means that this isn't Scarf Respect, this isn't loaded dice. It makes things a lot easier to deal with, especially these two mons, which are the biggest threats on the opposing side of the field. So I feel like not clicking Rock Tomb is just very strange when you could be clicking literally any other move. We're going to see High Horsepower miss anyways, and then we're going to see the Gigaton the next turn. It doesn't kill, because this thing has a monstrous defense, and it's probably Solid Rock. Out comes Lando. This is Endure Cost Tab Rhyperior. And we see this from the Endure. Sableye clicks Focus Blast, reading Skarmory to come in. Litfam, no, that's not. No, I mean, all I was gonna say is this Focus Blast miss is really good from Sableye, because otherwise he knocks this to 1%, and then he gets his Cost Tab very procced. It could be Endeavor, it could just be Stone Edge Raw. Either way, no one on this team wants to take a hit from this now that Tinkaton is dead. Literally nothing wants to take a hit from this mon anymore. So, Focus Blast coming off, a Stone Edge coming off is really bad, which is what that Endure would allow it to do. So, getting the Focus Blast, very nice. Or getting the Focus Blast miss, very nice. But Litfam knows from turn 1 that this is Scarf, so he's just going to go to his Resist, which is Slowking. Sableye's not going to predict it. Yeah, it happens. I mean, Litfam could have just stayed in. He was staying in all the time. I don't blame him for that. And then he's going to Chili right out to Thundo. Sableye said in VC at this point, oh, this is Double Dance, this could be scary. I'm just going to get my damage with Fiery Dance. That's a terrible play. And the reason it's a terrible play is this is Terrafire. If it is Double Dance, and this clicks Terrafire Nasty Plot or Terrafire Agility, game is over. You have to play for that. You have to play for the fact that he could choose the most threatening option, because yeah, you have to play for that, because why else would this come in? Especially, here's the other thing too, Litfam has been running Terra Fly Blast a lot, and he didn't Terra Rhyperior. That means first of all, he didn't Terra Rhyperior, especially in front of the Tinkaton. That means that a Thundurus's Terra is really important to him. Okay? Why is Thundurus's Terra important to him? Right? Why is Terra Fire, specifically, Not anything else. Why is Terrifier specifically important to him? Because if he's so worried about the Rillaboom, like hitting the Rillaboom with a Fire-type move, he would just stay Terra-Flying, right? Sure, Fire is good in this team overall, it's good in the Tinkaton, but Lifham's good at the game. He could totally just read the Tinkaton coming, and in Terrafly Blast doesn't even do that much less just because of stat. So why is he Terra-Fire and not Terra-Fly, right? Well, it has to be because it's defensive as well, or because it gives him good coverage. That's the only two options, right? And I mean, here's the other thing. If you preserve Terra on Rhyperior so much, you know this Terra is important, he's going to rip it this turn. So you have to play for the... Well, shit. It could be Scarf Terra Fire Terra Blast. That's an option, yeah. But why would he do that instead of Terra Fly? Why would he bring that instead of Terra Fly? Right? And especially when Sableye has a Swampert on his... He has a Swampert on his team, which would be the obvious switch to this. Why did he not bring... Why did he bring Terra Fire then? So you have to start thinking, it's maybe a different set than Scarf Respects. And if it's Double Dance, and he does click it here, you just lose the game. So, if you're Sableye, you have to play for, well shit, he either clicks Nasty Plot or he clicks Agility this turn. I genuinely have no idea what you're supposed to do about that, if I'm being honest with you. I'm pretty sure Slacking dies to any one hit, so if he clicks Terrifier Nasty Plot, the game is over. If you go Slacking, you could go... If you're really reading into things, I think your play here is either, if you have U-turn on this, you click U-turn, or you go to Lando, hard reading it. Because at the end of the day, yeah, click Terrifier, Terra Blast. Why would it... I feel the Agility Nasty Plot is how this game was played. It's just staring you in the face. Like, and if it gets clicked this turn, the game is over. I feel like going hard Landorus is a better play in the long run to avoid the Double Dance sweep than going Landorus and losing it if he's Specs or Scarf, Terra Blast, Terrifier, right? But we're gonna see the Terrifier, we're gonna see the Fire Dance, and, you know, obviously hindsight and all, but Pokemon Singles especially is such an information game. It's not open team sheets. You have to be reading into everything, right? He didn't click Terra on Rhyperior, that means Terra on Thundurus is important. He's Terra Fire on Thundurus, and he's not Terra Flying. You need to start deducing why that is. Why is he saving Terra so much for Thundurus? He hasn't done that in the past. Versus me, he ripped the Terra on Rhyperior right away, because he saw an advantage and decided to press it. Why didn't he press it against the Tinkaton? He could have just Terra Dragoned in front of the Tinkaton on the very obvious Gigaton Hammer and killed with high horsepower, right? And then he would have kept like a full health Rhyperior with Terra Dragon. That's really good in this team. Why didn't he do that? Why did he save it for Thundurus? Why is Thundurus' Terra so important? Especially when he hasn't valued it in the past, right? It has to mean that this is something special to him. And if you're Lifam, right, and you're just like a standard Air Slash set, right, you don't need to preserve Terra at all, because at this point, looking at the team, Air Slash is really good. So why, after he has the opportunity to trade the Tinkaton for the Rhyperior, or Terra the Rhyperior, still punch holes in the team and kill the Tinkaton, did he not do that? Stack all his HP on Rhyperior and keep the Terra on Thundurus. It's because this Thundurus is something crazy. So yeah, we're going to see the Double Dance, and we're going to see the Fire Dance come off, which does nothing, and then we're going to see Leftovers as well, which is even worse for Sableye. Now we're going to see the switch to Lando, but at this point it's too late. Yeah, it's a hard play to find, but Sableye had to find the play to go hard Landorus that turn. It's not that he would have won the game there. The game would have still lasted a lot longer, because he has to click Earth Power the next turn. He can't make a read, because if Lifam stays in, the game ends. And Lifam's going to go something like Skarmory, to which Sableye can get the Muck in, maybe get the Trap off. There's way too much theory at that point. There's a whole game to be played out, but at this point, this Thundurus is faster and kills everything, so there is no more to be said. Yeah, it happens. It's unfortunate, but it happens. Again, this is an information game. I feel like figuring out that the Thunderous was Double Dance was not too many steps away. And again, it was difficult to find, but finding the hard Lando play, it was possible. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed me going over a 15-turn 5-0 with a lot more time than I probably needed to, but this is the game I like to play, so. We're going to see Wefflez versus Sophie next. This game goes really fast, so I don't think there's a ton to say here. There's only one play in particular I think I can really analyze. We're gonna see Trick Room Healing Wish off this. We're gonna see Sophie. I'm gonna assume Sophie was Giga Brain here and predicted the Healing Wish, and didn't forget about Magic Bounce. I'm gonna hope that was the case, because that was a really cool play if it was. All super congrats to Sophie for finding that. We're gonna see Wefflez proc the competitive with Intimidate, which is just not advised. And then we're gonna see him play Rough the Empoleon. Again, not advised. And then it's gonna die to Hydro Pump. Yeah, this was bad. This was really bad. When you put up Trick Room turn 1 versus the Empoleon, Marowak has Earthquake. Just go to it. Just kill it. You don't want to do the Intimidate thing with the competitive. Mawile doesn't even have a move to kill this. I don't know if Drain kills from this range, if we're being honest. So yeah, this wasn't great from Wefflez, but there's not a lot to say there. He misplayed. It happens. Now Marowak's gonna kill with Earthquake, and this has Sturdy. So he goes to Root on the last turn of Trick Room. Spikes go up. We're gonna see Cudgel come off, does about 50. We're going to see Trailblaze come off in return. It's going to go to +1. At this point, Power Whip should kill, but instead, Wefflez switches out, which I don't think is a great play, but getting the Lando in isn't bad either, because now you kill with U-turn, and the Ogre Pawn is eliminated, which is one, because of the Sturdy, that's one less turn in Trick Room that can be wasted. I think you maybe could have just, oh, he forgot to Terra as well. On Zarude, was it that turn that he forgot to Terra? Because that Cudgel would have still done just as much, so it happens. But we're going to see the Slowking come in, we're going to see the Darkrai come in. This is Colbert Berry, which is the only reason it lives. Actually, 37, yeah, it actually would have lived without the Colbert, just barely, but it would have. But we're going to see the Trick Room come up, and then we're going to see another Dark Pulse come off as Wefflez teleports out. These are all very standard plays. Darkrai on the Slowking, yeah, that makes sense. Wefflez teleports here, which might sound weird, but it is his best play, clicking Teleport. Because Sophie's best play is actually not to click Dark Pulse again. Sophie's best play is to not kill the Slowking so Marowak can't come in. Because now Marowak kills the whole team. Especially without a Sturdy Ogre Pawn, Marowak is obliterating the whole team. So Sophie's best play was to not kill the Slowking, but Wefflez, who I don't know if he recognizes that, but he does recognize this, which is once the Marowak comes in, every turn of Trick Room is another Pokemon dead for Sophie. And the fastest way to get it in is Teleport, so it was the correct play for him, for sure. Marowak's going to come out, the Healing Wish is going to proc, which means it only takes, it's still going to take a shit ton from hazards. And yeah, now everything has to die. We're gonna see Rotom get sacked first, and then we're gonna see what I think is a very big throw, which is going Iron Moth here. At this point, Sophie can still win this game once this Marowak comes in. 3 turns of Trick Room. Sophie has 4 Pokemon, right? So she can choose to leave 1 Pokemon alive once this all ends, right? We know Lando is Scarf, that means it's offensive, because it outsped Ogerpon and killed it with U-turn. But also, if you're running Scarf, you're going to be offensive, right? That's just the way the world works. So, we know the Lando is Scarf. That means if you're not Scarf yourself on Darkrai, which Sophie isn't, spoiler alert, she isn't Scarf on the Darkrai, that means that the Lando outspeeds and kills this. It's frail enough to die. It kills... Earthquake doesn't kill Mega Gallade, but Explosion does, which is what Wefflez has. So, considering the fact that the thing is here, let's just, in our heads, let's just skip ahead, right? It's been, we gotta think ahead for this. It's been 3 turns. The Marowak is on the field, right? And we're gonna see, I'm gonna let all the hazards go through too. So the Marowak is on the field, and it's taken this much damage. It's gonna die to pretty much anything post-Trick Room, because it's just so low health at this point, right? The Landorus is a guaranteed trade for any one of your Pokemon. So if you let this Marowak do its, accomplish its goal, and get a kill for every turn of Trick Room, your best Pokemon left alive is either Rotom or Megalade. Either way, you lose the game, because out comes Landorus, it clicks Explosion, and Explosion either kills the Mega Gallade, or it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't kill the Rotom-Mow, and then Zarude comes out and takes the trade and wins the game. If you're Sophie, you need to find a way to stall one more turn of Trick Room. How do you do that? First of all, Darkrai isn't going to win in the post game. You let Darkrai go down here. And instead what you do is you go Rotom. You have to go Rotom. Why? Because I believe Rotom lives a Poltergeist, because I believe it was Bulky Rotom. It lives a Poltergeist. And Wefflez is going to click Blitz. On the Blitz, you go Iron Moth and live. This stalls that one turn of Trick Room you so preciously need. Now, you keep a, you sack your Darkrai and the Iron Moth, and you stall all 3 turns of Trick Room, right? This means you get full health Mega Gallade, you get full health Rotom-Mow to deal with this entire endgame, right? Either one of them can come out, well, not the Rotom. So the Mega Gallade comes out and kills the Marowak. It's also going to kill the Zarude at this point. So Wefflez will have to go to Landorus, and then he can either U-turn and sack, Zarude on the switch versus the Mega Gallade, or he can Earthquake and get damage for the kill, to which Mega Gallade just kills the Zarude, or click Explosion, kill the Mega Gallade 1-for-1, and then Rotom most likely beats the Zarude. Instead, we're going to see Rotom get sacked straight up, which, again, you can still make the same play because you know he's clicking Blitz on Darkrai, but then we see the Iron Moth just come in. And I'm pretty sure this is also just a lack of knowledge thing at this point. Sophie thought this might be Choice Band because of its damage. Marowak has an exclusive item called Thick Club. Thick Club, it only works for Marowak, but it doubles his base attack. Yeah, so it has no reason to run any other attack boosting move than that. This thing only runs that, or it runs Heavy Duty Boots. Then maybe it's the rare Assault Vest, but for the most part it's only those other 2. So, but now, because of that, we already know the game ends. So, we're going to see this, we're going to see the Blitz on Gallade, we're going to see Darkrai come in and kill the Marowak, and we're going to see the Landorus kill the Darkrai. Yeah, overall, Wefflez managed to clean it up after the Mawile play. I think the Mawile was really the only thing he did wrong. I think everything else was correct. Sophie managed to play really well, I feel. I just think recognizing that you needed to stall one more turn Trick Room to win the game was the correct play, and going to the Iron Moth was to stall a turn was a better play. But yeah, I don't have much more to say than that. Me versus Typical, yeah, I can give some insight to this. So, first of all, I was ecstatic to not see Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon was a big problem for me in prep, because that with Adidance Booster Speed is outspeeding my whole team, and most of the mons are dying. Especially because, I don't know, it couldn't exactly lock it itself into one move, but in the endgame, that mon could be really scary. So, first of all, let's just jump into it. I think Grass, Garganacl, and me and Typical talked about it after, he knows this too, Grass Garganacl is a big throw. Typical in prep was having problems with 2 Pokemon, my Ice types. First of all, look at his team and look at Freeze Dry. There is no switching. Now look at his team and look at Mamoswine. There's no answer. So bringing Terra Grass instead of literally anything to help with the Ice typing is not great in my opinion. Especially when you're bringing something super effective to Ice, not even just to Freeze Dry, to Ice. That's a big issue. And I feel bringing maybe like a Spadef guard with anything that resists freeze dry would have been a better play, because it forces my bundle to have to pick between freeze dry and anything else. Because now I look at this team and I go, I'm getting in bundle. I have choice specs, by the way. I'm getting in bundle and clicking choice specs freeze dry. I have no reason to not ever click that move because it's killing everything. Bringing just a resist to force me off of reconsidering clicking that, and to give yourself a chance of getting the play right between going Prim on like a Hydro or an Ice Beam, or going like a resisting Garg on a freeze dry would have been a lot better. But my lead was always going to be the same here. I was always leading Tapu Koko. I believe I Volt Switch. I choose not to reveal it this early, because it's free information and it puts up the Grassy Terrain, which I just don't need right now. Instead, I'm just going to go to Pecharunt, which is, I mean, a very easy switch. It's just it's a very simple, you know, I'm immune to Hyper Voice, I resist Giga Drain. Like, and I have Malignant Chain. Like, it's just what it is. I'm going to click Parting Shot because it's a very obvious switch. And then, I mean, my terrain is up, there's an Nidoqueen in my face, I'm going to my bundle. We're going to see Freeze Dry do 50, and then I'm going to switch this turn. Now you might be thinking, Crooked, why the fuck did you switch? You did half to the Prim. Because it's a roll. Why do I know it's a roll? Because Pokemon is an information game. This is my bundle set, right? I was Modest, because Modest max speed outspeeds Roaring Moon by a single point, right? And here's a little tip. When you're doing speed creeps, when you're doing aggressive speed creeps, like say I want to predict this Roaring Moon is going to speed creep something on my team, like if I think he's going to speed creep Salamence and go only enough speed to outspeed Salamence, ignore that. For Photosynthesis Mons and Ultra Beast specifically, because these are the only Pokemon in the game that people may not speed creep on, just because it's more efficient to run max something. Like if Typical wants to run Booster Speed Roaring Moon, which I thought he might in prep, he's just going to run this spread always, because he gets the most amount of attack and keeps his Booster Speed. He's not going to do less, because any less speed means he also has to lower his attack, which is going to be crippling for that guy. So, my bundle set is very clear. It's just max speed, max attack, choice specs, and then... Well, it wasn't max attack, it was just a little under, because I wanted Proto Speed myself, in case that Roaring Moon got out of hand, or Trailblaze on Metachant got out of hand. So, this is my set. So, imagine my surprise when Primarina, Freeze Dry, on a Assault Vest set, does 50 when it's calculated to do 65. Why is that? Well, we can do some inferring. It's max HP. Okay, well that's still not enough. It needs to take 50. Max Spadef. Okay, there. Now it's a mid-roll. Okay, so if it's at exactly 50%, I must have a... I've got about a 50-50 chance to roll. That's not great, but you can take that, right? Because I'm pretty sure I live in Moonblast. One last thing. If Typical's doing all this, I mean, let's be real. He just slapped an Assault Vest on the Prim, and then ran max Spadef. Like, let's be honest. If he's going to do all this, it's to resist bundle. He's just going to do max Spadef. So now look at this calc. It's a max roll. I got the max roll. Which won't matter in the long run, because no matter what, he can't switch in on Freeze Dry again. And this is the bundle switch, so it won't matter in the long run. But even if I'm assuming I didn't get the max roll, it's either... It's a 50-50 between I got the max roll and I have a 6% chance to Oko, or I got the mid roll and he's not plus nature and I got a 60% chance. So it's a 50-50 where most of the time I'm losing anyways. So why would I ever stay in versus just go to my resist, which is Pecharunt. Pecharunt resists everything, which is what I do. I'm gonna go Wordier on the Nidoqueen. I didn't exactly plan to switch to Nidoqueen. But this Wordier is max Spadef Assault Vest to help versus Zoroark. With Intimidate in case I get the play wrong and it's a Roaring Moon in my face instead. We're going to see hard Garganacl here, which makes sense. I just click Body Slam because it's my best thing to hit the Nidoqueen. It's not like this gets Rapid Spin or anything. I could have made a double. But it's a little risky because he doesn't know my Wordier set. So if he's assuming I'm like Fizz Def because I am Intimidate, Earth Power is going to do a lot to me. So I just want to make sure since it's such an information game, I don't know what his flowchart is when the word ear is on screen versus the Nidoqueen. I'm not gonna take the risk. It's my best play to stay in if he stays in, and it's absolutely horrific for me if I get the double wrong. So it's either I get the play wrong and oh no, Garganacle's on the field and I can just switch to something else and continue pivoting around, or I make the double, take the risk, and he clicks Earth Power and I lose him on, basically. But he's going to go straight to Medicham here. It reveals that it is in fact not a Medicham. First of all, really good double. Second of all, I decided I didn't need Pecharunt in this game anymore. Why? You may be thinking, why do I not need Pecharunt anymore? I've been spamming it all game. Well, there's a reason I've been spamming it all game. This Pecharunt was for the Roaring Moon. That may sound crazy, because I get fucked by knockoff, but here's the thing, my Pecharunt had no item. It was no item max defense, which 1v1s 90% of Roaring Moons, unless something crazy happened. If we look at Pecharunt and the rest of its team, I'm not spit out, so Prim is going to do a lot to me. And it's clicking Flip Turn anyway, so I don't really care. Obviously, Nidoqueen beats me. I'm really just beating Arboliva, but look at my team. I got a Mamoswine and I got an Iron Bundle. Do I really care about keeping one Mon to beat Arboliva? I'm not beating Guard because I'm getting Salt Cured. I'm only going to this so I can get Salt Cured from the Guard and then click Parting Shot because he's not going to click Salt Cure a second time. And I'm obviously not beating Zoroark. Well, yeah, I'm not beating Medicham. Like, I don't need this Mon. So I decide, you know, if he clicks Trailblaze here with the Medicham and I choose to do literally anything else but get some type of damage on it, this could be disastrous for me. So I just stay in and sack it because I just don't need the Mon. But yeah, he's going to make the Shadow Ball. I'm going to get my Malignant Chain off. And I choose to sack versus potentially getting the play wrong. Because I do count this and I find it isn't Specs. If it was Specs, it would have just killed me. At least I believe so. I hope so. So I'm just going to go to my Word Ear. This time I'm going to make the double, because there is no shot in hell he stays on the Word Ear. When I bring out the Word Ear here, now he knows what the Word Ear is for. The Word Ear is here because it's a normal type. It is the answer to Zoroark. This is where it gets revealed. He knows I'm defensive. That Body Slam did nothing. He also knows I'm defensive because of Intimidate. I don't know how this Mon would be offensive. It really just serves a defense or a defensive purpose. But when this comes out, now he knows that it's really just so he can't just spam Shadow Ball into my team. So he knows I'm going to live any other option, so he might as well go to a defensive Mon. I understand that dynamic too, which is why I put my Nitro Zeus on the field. Now, why do if I'm predicting Garganacl, why do I go to Nitro Zeus? Because I'm not sure if I think I might be able to beat this mod. Let me explain. First of all, I got Sub, so I don't get Salt Cured. Second of all, I have Nature's Madness to have it. But third, I had Mirror Move on this Tapu Koko. If this clicks Salt Cure on me, I was putting a Salt Cure on it right back. Yeah. But he reveals Earthquake, which just beats me, so I have to switch. I just go straight Bundle, because if he clicks Earthquake again, I'm going to live it, because I have a lot of defense, and I can just rip a Freeze Dry and kill something on this team. With my plus speed nature, there's a chance I get 2 kills. If I get the roll on Prim, I probably won't, but, you know, whatever. If he clicks Recover, that's even better for me, because I just kill it, so... but he clicks Earthquake. Again, I don't take much, because, you know, this thing has just a lot of base defense. And he's just going to go Prim, because, I mean, Prim, again, is for the Iron Bundle. It doesn't do anything else here, so... Especially at half health, it's not beating the Mamoswine, so he just has to let it go. I'm going to see the Medicham come out. I'm just going to go to my Word Ear and get my Intimidate off. And he reveals that it's the Zoroark. Or, I know it's the Zoroark because of less HP. Sorry, I'm saying words faster than I'm thinking here. I know it's the Zoroark because it has less HP, and the Medicham hasn't hit the field yet. So the Medicham's at 100. This has to be the Zoroark. My switch for Zoroark is always my AV Word Ear. That's just what the game is. He's going to get some damage. I'm going to kill it with Throat Shot. Out comes Medicham. I stay in here because I need damage on this. I need damage on this, and I'm 90% sure I live a Trailblaze. Trailblaze was a roll. It was a roll. I believe in his favor, but it was like 60-40. So, there's a lot to discuss here, because he does Trailblaze, and I live, which is crucial. Because now I get a Body Slam off, which doesn't para, but that's still makes the difference between him winning with Metacham and me winning the game. What was I going to say? If he gets the roll with Trailblaze, what happens then? Well, I go to Tapu Koko, and I click Volt Switch. I believe is my play. Because if he Trailblazes again, Volt Switch. Because I was max attack. What am I saying? I go to Tapu Koko. I live a Trailblaze. If he doesn't kill me with Trailblaze, then I go to Bundle, and I just have to land a Hydro Pump. Or Ice Beam might even kill from that range because of the specs, I'm not sure. But either way, I get Metacham off the field, and the threat is contained. Or I could go to Salamence and play 50-50 with Terra, since I'm Terra Steel. So we could play 50-50 between me clicking Zen, or me clicking, or him clicking Zen or CC, and me clicking Terra or not. He didn't win the game off the Trailblaze getting the roll, but he lost the game off of not getting the roll. Because now I sucker the next turn, and now he's in range of Ice Shard, so I can just get rid of it and not have to worry. Typical makes another misplay here, and he just attacks his other 2 mons before going to Arbalava, which lives a hit because he's Yachi. If you're Yachi Berry, you have to proc it versus this now, because otherwise I kill the other 2. But you can force it off the field really easily, especially with Strength Sap. I just am not sure why that was the play. But no, I mean, the game was going to go the same way, whether it went that way or not. Either way, I'm putting this, I'm doing all this, and then I'm getting Bundle, and I'm clicking Ice Beam. Let's say he doesn't sack the other 2 to Mamoswine, and he goes Arbalava straight up and forces me out. I mean, we just see the same thing. Imagine this situation right now, but these other 2 are still alive, and this was at half health. The game was still over. And this had Terra Grassed at this point as well, so the game was still over. It did not matter, because I just click Ice Beam. And if Arbalava dies, yes, but then I just click Ice Beam the other 2. So while I believe it was a misplay to sack the other 2, it would have ended in the same exact outcome, which is 3-0 for me. Yeah, I mean, my overall thoughts are the same things I said previously. I think this matchup was very scary for me. I think I just needed to force Bundle in as much as possible, and I was able to do that. Rocks were a bit of a challenge to get around, but we got there eventually. I think Terra Grass on guard was just a plain old throw, and not getting the roll in Trailblaze was unfortunate, but he would not have immediately won the game off of it. It just would have been a lot more close. But yeah. Logan versus Mabel. Okay, Mabel had some really cool prep, except she didn't bring Metagross, which meant the game was instantly over from Logan's perspective, but we'll get into that. We're going to see lead Torn versus lead. This very cool set, Air Balloon Voltage Absorb to be immune to Dual Stab, and then we're just going to get the Alluring Voice for the chip. We're going to see Stealth Rocks come off, and then we're going to see this come in. We should know from this damage right here that this is not full Spit F. So we know it's most likely physically defensive, and then we see it click Calm Mind. This should set off big red alarms for Mabel. Why? Because we know from the special damage from Jolteon, this is most likely Fizz Def. If it's Fizz Def, how do we kill it? Okay, first of all, this thing has a monstrous base Spit F, and it's clicking Calm Mind. So Jolteon, Torn, Tapu Fini, and Drifblim are not answers to it. That leaves Samurott and Sneasler. Samurot's a dark type, it's dying instantly to any fairy move. That leaves Sneasler. You can't get Sneasler in for free, and it's going to force your Unburden off. This Florges is a huge issue. But we're gonna see our Caledon come off on the Torn, which is very standard. We're gonna see Finny come in actually, which is a little different. I feel like if you're Sacred Sword and Samurott, you could have just done that, but that's fine. We're gonna see Light Screen, which is I had no idea I got that, and then we're gonna see Florges come out, and this is a big problem. Mabel makes a good play, which is go right out to Samurott and just start trying to get damage. Flip turn is fine, because oh no, and then we see Draining Kiss. This means the game is over. Like, actually, the game is just over right now. There's literally nothing Mabel can do to stop this. Now, you might be thinking, well, Caesar still kills from this range, right? Logan has Kebia Berry, I believe is what it's called. The berry that lets you resist poison moves. So Mabel's best play is to keep its HP down, get Sneasler in somehow, deal enough damage to it that Samurott can kill it after. Because poison resist berry means it's gonna live no matter what. Now, from Mabel's perspective, it just hasn't revealed an item. We haven't seen anything. For all we know, it could be Pixie Plate. I mean, we should know from this damage, it's probably not, but for all we know, it could be Pixie Plate. It could be Kebia Berry. That's definitely something you should be thinking about, but you don't know for sure. Especially because, like, you know, why are we not running leftovers of the Calm Mindset? This should be the part where maybe we start thinking about this has an item that fucks me over. But Mabel's going to defog, which I think is fair, but it does let this get off another Calm Mind. This is just really hard to manage right now, especially with no Metagross. We're going to see Caesar come right out, which it had to. I understand the play. And then we're going to see Swords Dance. Again, this didn't matter, but because the Sneasler was dying anyways. Mabel predicted a switch, which, in my opinion, you can't make this prediction, because if you get it wrong, you lose the game instantly. And a 6-0 at this stage of the game, when, again, I keep harping on how important differential is, a 6-0 was disastrous. So, I feel like you just have to click Poison Gem. Like, yeah, Arcalon can come out. I feel like you're okay with managing Arcalon versus this just staying in. So, clicking Swords Dance, I understand the play. I think if it worked, it would have been incredible. It would have been really good, because you just force a kill after. But this just means if it stays in, you lose, especially because Florges is packing Psychic. Now the game is super over. We're going to see Flip Turn. It doesn't matter. This thing is Draining Kissing, and it's getting back to full. No matter what happens, it's clicking Kiss, and it's getting back to full. There's nothing that can stop it anymore. We're going to see the Confuse come off, which I just want to highlight how lucky Mabel got in these moments, by the way. First of all, every single Hurricane hits, which, by the way, there's a lot. We're going to see a lot more of those Hurricanes. We're going to see one full Confusion, and then it's going to break out. It's going to get back to fall off these Mons, yes. And then we're going to see another Hurricane connection into Confusion, another Hurricane connection into hitting itself, another Hurricane hitting into hitting itself, another Hurricane hitting, and then it hits itself again. I thought it broke through that turn. Another Hurricane hits, and then it finally kills. Again, none of this mattered, but all 7 Hurricanes hitting and 3 Confuses in a row is criminal. But, you know, it's all for naught. This can't win anymore. It can't. It can't be stopped. It's too powerful. So, yeah. A little bit of a miss not bringing the Metagross, especially when Florges just is an easy bring into mons like Tornadus. Like, Tornadus, Finny, Jolteon, even Drifblim can all get hardwalled by Spadef Florges. So I feel like it's a very obvious bring for Logan, and it's kind of it's a little short-sighted on Mabel to not recognize that and bring an answer like Metagross. But it happens. There was nothing she could do once the battle started to stop this Florges. This Florges was always going to win. It's just a matter of how many mons or how long it took. Or if Logan mismanaged it and managed to throw. Logan did not mismanage it, and he managed to keep all 6 mons, which was really good from him. So really, really well played from Logan. Mabel did her absolute damnedest. This team just had nothing for this mon. She kind of had to rely on Logan throwing, if we're being real, which he didn't do. Again, I'm giving props to Logan here. And I will say, again, Mabel did her best to manage this threat. It's just that with no Metagross, there was no stopping it. So, Eldritch versus Aalaxel. I haven't looked at this one in a little bit. So, let's see. Yeah, so we're going to see Raichu off lead. And then we're going to see Nuzzle on the Scizor. This is fine. This is all standard. Full para is very nice, though, because you know that thing is clicking U-turn. Another full para means you can get more screens, but instead he's going to go straight to Tusk, predicting, well, I mean, you have a Monstrous Defense and Reflect, so you're just living everything. But you get forced out right away by Dragapult, and he kills another Mon with Draco. Draco means that this is probably choiced. So we should be keeping that in mind. We're gonna see Knock. We're gonna see Trick Room come off. Actually, he's gonna click Bullet Punch. I mean, it wasn't gonna do anything anyways. This is most certainly. Oh no, it's Flash Fire because it got hit by Knock and nothing procced. We're gonna go Great Tusk on Darm. This is all really good from Eldritch. I think his only misplay so far was that wasn't even bad. Because he basically sacked his booster energy and then got Trick Room up, and now this isn't a huge issue. And then we're going to see Terra Fire. Oh, no Terra Fire. We're just going to see Temper Flare come off. Preserves the Terra for now. And then we're going to see Enamorous come in. Terra Fire, Temper Flare. It's going to live at Moonblast, but Temper Flare is not going to kill. He's going to live on 1, which is insane. Would have been very nice if he was able to live that, but it wasn't meant to be. We're going to see Ogerpon come off to take the hit. Kills it with U-turn. We're going to see Armarouche come in. We're going to see Dragapult come in. You know it's clicking Shadow Ball. This is where, I think, so far in this game, there was no major misplay. I don't think anything really went wrong. So this is the part of the game I want to start talking about. Why in God's name, when this is all very assuredly choiced, why are we going Goldengo? Why are we not going Raging Bolt? Right? Like, just... I feel like Draco is just such a giveaway that it is. And if it's not, you force the Draco to come off, which means you can go... you can live with Goldengo, right? And if not, right? And if you're thinking in your head, well, shit, now I just lose to Dragapult. Your only chance of winning is if the Dragapult is choiced, which, in my opinion, it most likely is, because of the Draco. And Aalaxel's tendency to put a choice on literally everything. So if you think you've lost, you might as well play for the, maybe it's choice into Shadow Ball. Let's go to Raging Bolt first, right? Because either way, I'm going to lose the game. So I might as well play for the one out that I have, that he brought something that means I don't immediately lose the game. Because if he doesn't, you can go to Raging Bolt, you can click Calm Mind, or you can click Thunderbolt, either way, because you know it's going to switch, and you're a much happier man. Instead, we sack Goldengo, which is really important, because it's one less mon, gets the Dragon Pulse right on that guy, out comes Darm, and this is just going to click Earthquake into the last 2. Gets the 50-50 wrong in the Keldeo. If he Horn Leech that turn, this game could have been a lot different, but instead he doesn't, and Air Slash cleans up the game. Yeah, keeping Goldengo meant that this same exact sequence could have been taken, except now you don't have to make a 50-50 here between Cudgel and Horn Leech. Instead, all you have to do is go right to Goldengo on this Keldeo. Maybe it Hydros, maybe it doesn't. But it's probably not because you're Water Absorb. So you can live whatever hit, and then you can click Shadow Ball, which probably kills the Darm from this range. And having only one of having just the Keldeo versus these two probably means Eldritch wins. So, yeah, just letting the Goldengo go when we can play for the choice is not the greatest play. But it happens. I understand he probably thought in his head that he lost anyways. That happens to the best of us, if we're being real. But, yeah. Though the one thing I will compliment Aalaxel on is recognizing this dynamic here. I've been harping on saving differential so much this entire video, because we're nearing playoffs, and it's looking closer than any other season we've ever had. And Aalaxel understands this, and instead of staying in this turn, and clicking Earthquake, he goes straight to the Keldeo. Even when this could have clicked, like, Woodhammer or something to win the game, he goes straight out to his Keldeo to preserve it, and then take his kill, and keeping it a 2-0. Now, I'm saying all this, there's also the chance that he was just Scarf Darm, which I think he probably was, if we're being honest. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, this is totally just making sure he doesn't throw the game, because Eldritch could have Trailblazed that turn on the Scarf Darm, and no, because then you lose anyways with Keldeo. Yeah, no, he was just playing for differential. He did just see the Cudgel coming. If Eldritch clicks Trailblaze, that turn, he wins the game if this is Scarf. So that's another thing that could have happened if he had Trailblaze. This has U-turn, which tells me it probably didn't. But if he had Trailblaze, he could have still won this game if he clicked Trailblaze on the Darm. Actually, wait, no, this Keldeo still had Terra. Never mind, it didn't matter. Right, Terra was never... Oh, no, it was Terra Ground. Oh, never mind. Yeah, no, the game was still winnable. No, Terra Ground is awful here. Okay. Oh, it was for Thunderclap. Never mind, Terra Ground's pretty good. Yeah, that game was not over until it was over. Very tight game all around, I think. Yeah, a couple misplays from Eldritch. Just a couple more reads, a couple more peeking into the sets and what Aalaxel is bringing could have gotten him over the finish line, but Aalaxel managed the threats fine enough and got through it at the end of the day. Nilly versus Icarus. Oh boy, this is a doozy. I built Icarus's team. Well, I didn't build it. We built it together. He came up with a lot of the ideas, to be honest, and I helped put them together. So in particular, he came to me and said, "I want help with team building." I mean, I've been helping him every week. I knew he was coming, but he said, "I want help with team building. I don't know what to do with Nilly, but I do know that we need Pheasantipity to be for an immunity to toxic spikes." I said, "Yes. You should go Assault Vest Max Spinef to switch into Shaman." He's like, "Yep, that sounds good." He said, "We should run Power of Solar Beam Typhlosion again to hit the Alomomola." I said, "Yep, we're doing that. We're not changing anything on it. That sounds great." He said, "I think Dracovish looks good." I said, "Well, no, it doesn't because of Alomomola." He went, "Oh, right, I forgot." And I went, "Well, what about this?" And he went, "I'm listening." I showed him the idea. He said, "That sounds crazy, but it might work." I don't know. I don't remember what he said. I'm not going to pull up the DMs right now, but it was something along the lines of, "Sure, let's go for it." Because my favorite thing about building with Icarus is he's so down for my fanatical, stupid ideas. So we went with it. And what's the set, you might ask? We'll get into it. But the plan was always lead Dracovish, because we assumed lead was going to be Claydol. I told him that I don't remember who came up with that idea, but we both came to the same conclusion. That lead, we can totally just lead Dracovish. Well, he wanted to lead Dracovish. I said, do that, it's probably lead Claydol. Because that's what it's been a lot of the weeks. But we see lead Thundurus, which I assumed wasn't coming, which is a little on me. Because I thought Thundo was terrible into this team. Tell me what Pranks are supposed to do into a team with a Mega Tyranitar and Psychic Terrain. Now, we didn't bring either of those because, again, I thought the Thundurus wasn't coming, and those two are really, honestly, terrible to the rest of the team. But either way, we see T-Wave, and it hits the Ursaluna. He's just going to rip Blood Moon this turn. No reason not to. This is very standard gameplay so far. Clicking Vacuum Wave over Earth Power here, in my opinion, is a misplay, because Vacuum Wave won't kill, but Earth Power will. But it ends up being the correct play, because you actually get damage on the Shaman instead of clicking Earth Power and getting nothing. So you break a potential Sash. It's not Sash, but you break a potential Sash. So he actually makes the right play, because it covers the Shaman coming in, which is kind of funny. Or covers, in quotation marks. It's always Pheasantipity. This is max AP. Like, it is. There's no getting through this. U-turn comes off. We see no Toxic Chain. Now here comes the Dracovish. It's Cinema. We're going to see Whirlpool. Then we're going to see Substitute. We're trapping the Alomomola, and we're putting up the Substitute. Now you might be thinking, well, Crooked, I mean, it's just going to wish and flip turn out. Like, oh, you're doing all this. Oh, and then we see the Meteor Beam. Raw Meteor Beam. No power, because if we're doing sub, I like leftovers. Why are we doing all this when it can just flip turn out? It's because we're not Strongjaw. We're not Sandrush. We're Water Absorb. So we're gonna see the Protect come off to block the Meteor Beam, but after another turn of Whirlpool, this isn't range. In range of what, you might say? Oh, you know, we're dropping a Draco. Yeah. And you just watched a Dracovish 1v1 in Alomomola. Yeah. I came up with this idea after seeing Every time I fight a team with an Alomomola, the absolute first thing I look for is what gets water absorbed. What can I... Because the thing you need to know about Alomomola is it's always bringing the same set. It's always bringing Flip Turn, it's always bringing Wish. Or, if it's not doing that, it's bringing 4 attacks that don't mean anything and Assault Vest. Mainly, Alomomola's entire goal is to be fat, switch in on anything, and click Flip Turn. It's stupid, it's annoying, but it's really damn good. So, how do you stop it? Well, look for the Water Absorb Mon. That's what I always end up doing versus every fucking Alomomola, because it also, half the time, Alomomola only runs water moves just because it has no reason not to run anything, or has no reason to run anything else. It has no attacking power, so why, it'll consider running Alluring Voice, but not heavily. So having a Water Absorb Mon to stop it from clicking Flip Turn into everything could be really strong. So I saw in Icarus' team that he had Dracovish as a Water Absorb Mon, and I went, okay, well that's a good idea, but how is this supposed to function when it doesn't do anything to Mola? And then I spied Whirlpool, and then I remembered it got Meteor Beam, and the rest of the set snowballed from there. This is extremely Fizz Death Dracovish. I put just enough defense on this that an Alomomola who's using its extra 8 EVs, it would be 8 because it wants to do 1 less HP for leftovers purposes, or there's an HP reason for it. I don't remember the specific reason, but it likes to do that. If it was invested into attack and this had Play Rough, which it can sometimes run, it would not break sub. Additionally, Alluring Voice is doing literally nothing because of the amount of HP that we have. Also, we need sub in case this pack's toxic, so we can still 1v1 it. But now, not only have we killed the Alomomola, this is a full health Dracovish behind a sub. Sure, it's -1. Who cares? Nilly makes a small misplay here, and I won't harp on Nilly too much because I know she knows her mistakes at this point. I know she's gone over this battle really hard, so everything I say here, Nilly, this is not for you to learn from. This is for everyone else to learn from, because not everyone else has done the same analysis that you have on your own game, just so you know. Nilly's correct play is now we know the entire spread. I mean, it's just go Shaman and break sub and then kill it after. Just mash Air Slash. You're going to get Whirlpool, you're going to take some damage. I'm not sure how important the damage is on Shaman anyways, but going Melmetal is not good. You know nothing about the set. You know it's 4 moves, but you know nothing about the spread. That's the issue. So when this Whirlpool comes off, and then double Iron Bash, the first hit doesn't even break sub, you know this is now really Fizz Death, but you can't do anything about it, because now you're trapped with Whirlpool. So Icarus is going to make the right play, and just stall for this Whirlpool to do damage until he can kill. Which is perfect. He is going to Meteor Beam this turn to get a attack off, which I think is fine, because if you just mash sub, you're going to lose. Mashing sub is less efficient, in my opinion, than just getting an attack off. Is it? I'm not sure. I don't know. It's kind of goes either way, but at this point, the Dracovish is doing nothing into this team anymore. The jig is up. We know what the set is. This Dracovish is nothing but a sack anymore. If it switches out, it's nothing but a sack. It's done its job of killing the Mola, so Icarus has no reason to ever switch unless he's getting threatened by a setup sweeper, which this is not setup sweeping. So we're going to see Meteor Beam do a big 8%. So maybe it would have just been better to sub consistently, but again, the Dracovish is not needed, and either path is going to get you to killing the Melmetal. He makes a good play and just takes a skill for Draco, keeps some health, and then preserves the sack because Pheasantipity is just free on Shaman. I think that's also a really good play. Again, I've been harping all video about saving differential, but keeping the sack on the Dracovish, I've said it's useless, but it's a sack if you don't have a switch in for something. And again, Shaman is going to have a really hard time getting through Pheasantipity either way. So yeah, it's easy. Just go Pheasantipity. Additionally, this is looking dire for Nilly. Icarus at this point can play this game with no risks. Because he, at this point, has traded 2 entire Pokemon for 60% of his health on a Dracovish. Given that Dracovish isn't doing anything anymore, well, he could still Whirlpool something, but Icarus makes the Gunk Shot play. This is covering for in case Nilly stays in the mash Air Slash. I think that's totally fair to consider. We're going to get the Toxic Chain anyways, and then we're going to get the U-turn after. And then, again, the Drakovich is a sack. We don't need it. So that's what we're going to go to. Is we're going to go to the Drakovich, because it doesn't let anything in either. Nilly is going to be faster, because this Drakovich had no speed. And take her kill with Earth Power. In comes the Sun, and this is Power of Meteor Beam, or Power of Solar Beam, as mentioned prior, which means it kills the Diancie. Not clicking Mega, very questionable. I understand she was still did out of her mind. It happens. I'm still going to mention it, because I have to mention misplays. I don't need the calc anymore. We're going to see Flame Charge come off as she puts up Sun. The Sun is for Growth Shaman, but at this point, there's nothing to stop this Typhlosion. The Thundo has to die, and then out comes the Shaman, and doesn't get parried or flinched. I mean, it didn't matter at that point anyways. If she doesn't get parried or flinched, she has to para-flinch, or she has to flinch with Air Slash literally the entire rest of the team, which is not going to happen, because she doesn't have enough PP for it. First of all, she has to get through an entire Pheasantipity and an entire Iron Crown. Iron Crown is also Agility stored power. So, Iron Crown can come in, click Agility, and if this is choice, I mean, first of all, it can't just mash Air Slash. It probably has to click something else, because she's worried about what if it breaks through. It's going to Agility up, be faster, and then, I believe it was Tachyon store power. So it would just probably Terra to avoid Earth Power, and then click Calm Mind. After +1, stored power should start doing big damage. In addition, we have Trick Room on Dusclops. It was to reverse for Claydol, but it could be doubled as a way to, if we break through one flinch from Shaman, we put the Trick Room up, and now Shaman's faster than the whole team. Blood Moon comes in, clicks Blood Moon, and the Shaman dies. There were a lot of ways around the Shaman, but it is unfortunate for Nilly's differential. Again, differential, that the Typhlosion moved. If you're Icarus, staying in with the Typhlosion, I still believe is your best play. This could have growth, so taking the chance that it could set up and that could be an issue is totally fine. I think it's totally fine, because again, this Shaman's still going to have Earth Power, so if it does click Growth in the Sun, which why else are we running Sunny Day Thunderous, by the way, and then putting it up in front of a Typhlosion, like it's Growth Shaman. Earth Power is 2 at KOing Pheasantipity, so we can't even like switch in anymore, because we're in Earth, well, we're not in Earth Power range, because the Air Slash came off first, but if she gets the Earth Power read, that could be bad. There's a lot of things. I think just staying in is fine. It's very unfortunate for Nilly that she didn't get any hacks, which I know is a weird thing to say, but with Serene Grace, she had a 60% chance to flinch, on top of a 30% chance of paralysis. If either of those hit, she at least kills Typhlosion as long as the next Air Slash lands, and brings it down to a 4-0 instead of a 5-0, which would have been nice, but Icarus was still going to win the game either way, unless Nilly got unbelievable RNG, which means flinching everything for 50 million turns in a row, which I don't even think would have won her the game, because I just don't think you have enough PP, but and very well played from Icarus. Every plan went the way it wanted to, which is very nice. And Nilly, I can't even say she played exactly wrong, because she just got her ankles broken by a strange Drakovich. Like, this is only ever coming in a draft league setting, right? And it completely threw Nilly off. And we can see that because the Melmetal came in after instead of the Shaman. There were a lot of things that transpired that really only happened because the Drakovich threw her off so bad. But, yeah, really well played from Icarus. Nilly did her best to salvage it, but couldn't do it. It was just such a big loss, losing both Mola and Melmetal to the Drakovich. If it was just Mola, it would have been fine. It still would have been bad. It still would have been really bad, because losing Mola on this team means you have no healing anymore, whereas Mola could heal up the whole team. So, but that's it. That's all I got for this week. Going into next week, we have a lot of fun matchups, and we're getting closer to playoffs, guys. So, I wish you all the best of luck, and I'll see you next week.